everybody, and welcome to my channel. If you're a first-time viewer of these videos, then a quick introduction. I am a starseed, and I identify as a starseed and a light worker, and I'm going through an awakening experience, and I'm changing the course of my life and writing a book and recording these videos in order to bring more, or anchor more light into the planet, into the earth, and support and encourage and help others in finding their light also. So hopefully these series of videos will be helpful, and I'm going to be posting many more on YouTube. So this is one of the first. So the subject of this video is spiritual awakening. So I have had plenty of conversations with various different people about spiritual awakening. I've read lots of books about it, I've watched lots of videos about it, and I suppose this video is here just to demystify it slightly and bring spiritual awakening kind of back down to earth a little bit. So what does spiritual awakening actually mean? I think it probably means different things to different people. The experience is probably different for different people. It depends on many different things. I don't think there's one version of a spiritual awakening. I don't think it's a case of it's like Buddha sitting under the tree for many years meditating in silence and withdrawing from life, and then all of a sudden having this like majestic moment where he becomes enlightened. I think personally that, and from my own experience, it is more about really reconnecting with your physical body, with the planet, with the earth, and a spiritual awakening within your 3D human life here on planet Earth. And that's what it's about for me. So I'm going to talk through really briefly about some incredible, amazing, life-changing spiritual experiences that I have had, that I consider to be my spiritual awakening. And just go through a couple of thoughts and ideas about how you can talk about it to other people, how you can think about it, process it, and support yourself through it. So the first thing I wanted to say is that you have to be discerning. I found out that you've got to be really discerning when you're talking about spiritual enlightenment and spiritual transcending or spiritual awakening. There are lots of people that if you try and have that conversation with them, then lots of people are not ready for it, and I'm a very sensitive person. I'm very empathetic, and I can be quite affected by people's reactions and things like that. So I have to be discerning about who I speak to about the topic of spiritual awakening. So I'm recording these videos, I'm writing a book. That's okay because it's out there. Yes, it's out there for everybody to see. At the moment, probably most of my family and most of my friends and people that know me and colleagues and all of those people, they don't know that I've had these experiences. They don't know that I'm recording these videos unless they happen to be watching them now. So hello friends and family, colleagues, if you're watching the video, now you know. But that's the most important thing for me, is that the person has to seek out or ask you if they want to know more about your spiritual awakening and your spiritual experiences, or their own, or be inquisitive about it. That it's really difficult thing to do to press it onto someone and just start talking about it. And when someone seeks it out, when someone asks you about it, then there is some part of them somewhere deeper down that is truly ready to hear that information. And likewise, sharing it on YouTube videos and writing it in books, you're only going to open it and watch it and open it and read it if you are seeking or asking. So it's kind of the same thing, really. So let me tell you about an amazing experience that happened to me. First of all, over a period of a few months, I guess, I started to, every time I was either waking up or going to sleep, I would be lying there feeling very relaxed in bed, very much conscious, but just with my eyes closed. and I would start to feel a tingling and a buzzing and all over vibrating. I thought to myself, if I touch my body, surely it's going to be vibrating, but it wasn't. But I felt an electrical vibration all over, and I just lay with it and accepted it, allowed it to happen, and as I had my eyes closed still, I began to sense that something was happening in this area, I guess the third eye area, and I focused all my conscious attention and my awareness on this area, and a yellow ball of light appeared in front of me, about so far away, arm's length away, but at the same time, you know, on another level, it was kind of millions of miles away and really close at the same time. But for these kind of purposes, I suppose you could say it was like an arm's length away. And it was a yellow crackling ball of fizzing, sparking, buzzing, vibrating light. It wasn't a solid ball, it was like almost like a ball of electrical string with gaps in it. And then it had threads of yellow light coming back from the ball to my third eye area. Some were thick, some were thin, and they were kind of buzzing and waving. And then the entire space around me, so you know, like when your eyes are closed, you know, it's normally just darkness and you know that your eyes are closed and you're just looking behind your eyelids, but it was as though my eyes were opening while my physical eyes were closed. That was the sensation. My eyes were opening, and I always identify with this space that I'm going to when I see vast space, like there's a sense of vastness about this space that I'm seeing ahead of me, and it's not just looking behind closed eyelids, and it's usually very dark grey and speckly with sort of very like white grainy speckles all over it. So I know I'm in that place. I see this ball of light, I'm continuing to focus on it, the vibrations are there, all over body vibrations, there's a whooshing sound in my ear, there's a sense of like energy being sucked towards this yellow light, but not in a draining way, in a kind of just focusing it all on there. I can hear the rushing sound. And there's like a high pitched frequency in my ear, like really high pitched beep, 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 beep. And I'm just focusing on this. And this happened to me a number of times, and I started to get more and more comfortable with it and just accept it for what it was, and I didn't understand what it was. Then, on the 31st of December 2018, actually it was probably the 1st of January 2019, because it was in the fairly early hours of the morning, I had the most incredible spiritual experience, what I feel was my own personal awakening. And it was a similar start as to before. Exactly the same happened. So the vibrations and the buzzing and you know, the high pitched frequency in the ear, the energy, the sense of energy rushing towards this single point in front of my third eye here. All of my focused attention and awareness, it was like I was present in the room, and I knew I was lying in my bed, and my wife and my dog were downstairs, and I knew, you know, where I was, and I was awake, but my eyes were closed, but I was going into this different space, and I knew I was going into this different space by the beeping frequency, the rushing, the vibration, the whooshing sound, the seeing of this grainy space texture with all, you know, with all these white grainy texture to it. So I just allowed again that to happen. And then I just kept watching, and this time the ball of light changed into kind of just like a hole, and it was more funnel like, and it became just a hole at the end, and at first it was just kind of a black hole, so I was like, oh, I wonder what's in there. So I just kept looking, and you know, really intrigued, and like, I'm just going to allow this to happen. And then all of a sudden, thousands upon thousands upon thousands of images started flashing by in this hole at the end. It was kind of like watching like a movie through a pair of binoculars, you know, and I was seeing down this funnel, and these thousands of images that kept flashing by, they were going at the speed of light. That's the best way I can describe it. They were so fast, and so many of them. And even though they were going so fast, I was wholly with and present and knew and could see and understand every single image that passed by. It was like there was no sense of real time anymore. So real time had kind of finished, and it was just, you know, I was there and present with every single thing. It was a bit like being Father Christmas, I guess. It's like, how does he deliver all those presents in one night? You know, but with each present that he delivers, he's actually going to the house, and he actually knows he is doing it and he's aware of it. That's what it was like with these images, but they were so crazily fast. I don't remember what those images are, except I remember the side of a tiger and the pattern of the skin, and a tiger's face, and they're the only two that I remember, and the rest I don't remember, but I was wholly there and remembering them at the time. I continued watching. The images stopped and it went black again. I just kept watching, and I saw a faint outline of a closed eye, and I kept it again connected with it, all this whooshing and rushing and vibrating and frequency in my ear, and I kept watching, and quite quickly actually this eye opened, and it was just a single eye, a big eye. It was both really big and really small. It was both really close and really far at the same time. Again, if I'm trying to describe it in, like, you know, this 3D kind of earth plane language that we understand, it was probably like 2 arm lengths away, and probably about this big, and this eye opened, and then everything completely changed for me. And this eye was really big, really blue, really beautiful. There's a song coming up in that, I think. And when this eye opened, it was the most beautiful, bluest, most beautiful eye I've ever seen in my life. It was like the most perfect eye, and what was coming from it was the most unbelievable, divine, otherworldly, unconditional love. Just love, amazing, incredible, euphoric love. And I felt euphoria like I have never felt it before. I felt love like I have never felt it before. And yet, you know, I was still aware of myself. I was still aware of being conscious on the bed. And I repeated to this eye, I shouted at this eye, and to me my eyes were open and I was shouting, but if anyone was looking at me lying on the bed, they would see my eyes closed and they wouldn't see my mouth moving. But I was shouting, oh my God, I love you. Oh my God, I love you. Oh my God, I love you. Repeatedly to this eye. And all this rushing sensation and this overwhelming love and euphoria and understanding. And you know, the eye had a slight cartoon element to it. It was a human eye, but there was an aspect of it that almost could have been drawn by like an amazing artist. And I guess maybe that was like helping me to identify with it on not too a frightening a level. But it was a really amazing, life-changing, rich experience, and this sense of love and euphoria. What this eye told me was that I had the sense that I was this eye. What I was looking at was me, and vice versa. And so this eye encompassed, you know, the great one consciousness, the I, the great I am, the everything, the all and everything, the creator or God or whatever you want to call it. And that I was also that I, and the I was also me. We were one and the same thing. It was like union, it was like harmony, it was like unconditional love, and it was a sense of complete knowing and understanding, complete recognition of the truth, complete recognition of who I was, where I came from, who I am, the truth of who we are, who we all are. You know, where I might go, the essence of who I am, and therefore where I might go when I die, and just complete understanding of everything I needed to understand. And you know, if you ask me, oh, what do you mean? What do you understand? What truth did you see? What do you mean? Well, I'm not really able to put that into words. It's just a sense of all knowing and all understanding and all seeing of everything that needs to be seen, of truth. And of that whole idea of, you know, one consciousness and divinity and a creator and magic, basically. It was magic. So, so I, in fact, actually, I often buy things with eyes on now. I found a couple of days later, and talking about synchronicity, because synchronicity is, you know, a really key sign that you're connecting with the other world, with divinity, with angels, with whatever it is out there to be connected with. Then synchronicity is part of that. And for me, that comes in numbers, it comes in songs, it comes in signs, it comes in all sorts of things. And actually, just after that experience, I don't really buy jewellery, I don't really wear it, but I went to a shop, and there was this beautiful necklace that just kind of I just walked towards it in the shop, and it was of just a simple one big blue eye, and I thought, that's the necklace for me. I definitely bought that. And you know, the way that I would describe the eye to people, and I came downstairs and found my wife and tried to tell her about this experience, and the way I described it was, this eye was so big, it was so blue, it was so beautiful. And I think there's a song, I don't remember who it's by, it might be the Kaiser Chiefs, I can't remember, could be wrong about that, but there's an album called Third Eye, and one of their songs is called So Big, So Blue, So Beautiful. And I never knew that. I didn't know about that song when I was describing this to my wife. And sure enough, when I went on my laptop upstairs a while later, an advert came up on the side bar of my screen, advertising an album called Third Eye, and the song, you know, top performing song was So Big, So Blue, So Beautiful. And you know, talk about synchronicity. So you're going back to this is a shungite necklace, which helps you to protect your energy field against negative energies and to cleanse your energy field. And this has also got an eye in the middle of a triangle on it. So I'm all about the eyes these days. So that was my incredible life-changing spiritual experience. How do I live my life now after that experience? On the outside, you might think I pretty much live my life the same. I go to the same job, I live in the same house, I have the same family and friends, and I talk about the same things, and I do the same things, and actually lots of my friends and family and colleagues, they wouldn't know any different about me. I'm not suddenly dressing in white and going around, you know, talking to everybody about this. I'm still living the same life, I'm still doing the same things, except I am now finishing my book and writing about this. I'm recording these YouTube videos, so in some ways that has changed, because I'm now following a path of purpose and a path of knowing, and a completely different way of living my life in that sense. But on a day-to-day basis, like I don't float around, I walk around like normal, but the difference is, I guess, that is my inner experience. And I guess, you know, some people that know me may sense, oh, she seems different, or she seems lighter or happier or more sure of herself or whatever. But essentially, like, the way that I'm living, the experience I'm having in my inner world is profound. That's the difference. So I'm doing my normal thing, but my experience while I'm doing those normal things is profoundly different. And it is profoundly different because of the things I've seen, because I cannot unsee the things I've seen, because I cannot unknow the things that I know. That's not possible. And this is just one of many experiences that I've had. And I cannot change that or take that away. So it's like truth to me. Truth, that's truth. That is truth. I feel like I've seen truth, for me anyway. And so that has changed my perspective on life. It's taken away my fear of death, my fear of illness, my fear of bad things happening. You know, I feel safer. I feel more connected. I feel more purposeful. I feel more alive. I feel happier, and I'm more understanding about why I'm here. And you know, and I certainly love myself a lot more wholeheartedly than before. So my inner experience is one of understanding, it's one of truth and honouring my truth, it's one of a profound sense of joy, it's one of a profound sense of curiosity and excitement about the world. You know, even if I'm going through a negative experience, no matter what, there is still the profound curiosity, the profound joy, excitement, sense of purpose, energy. I have more energy. I don't get sick anymore. And I guess after that experience, I also started astral traveling too, which is incredible. And that's a whole new journey for me too. That's not something I really understood before. And I've created a separate video on astral traveling. So please go and watch that if you're interested in hearing more about astral traveling. So that's my experience of spiritual awakening. That's how I feel that the place that it has in the world, that it's more grounded, more earth-based, more natural than, you know, sometimes what is depicted or described out there. And yes, it is life-changing because it changes your inner experience of what your life is on a day-to-day basis. And it also sends you on your purpose. It puts you on your path, nice and straight, and it shows you clearly what you need to do, what you're supposed to be doing. It gives you the courage, the confidence, the bravery, the understanding, the self-love in order to be able to go ahead and do the thing that you came here to do. So that is all from me on spiritual awakening, and I hope you have resonated with that in some way, or identified with it in some way, that it's been helpful. And if you're interested in astral travelling, then please do go and find my other video on astral travelling, and thank you very much for watching. Namaste.